Hello learners. Welcome to the channel Easy Life Science. Subscribe and stay tuned to learn science topics easily. In the today lecture, we will learn about downstream processing. Downstream process is the crucial process during the production of any biotechnological products, especially in industries like pharmaceuticals. Downstream processing refers to the recovery and purification of biosynthetic products from natural sources such as animal or plant tissue or fermentation broth to the final formulated products. Once the desired product was cultured through the series of process collectively called as upstream process, the produced product need recover from the culture for its intended use, and that is called as downstream process, DSP. From the starting of the culturing, reactor designing and monitoring, inoculation and incubation, to recovery of final desired product is mainly divided into two processes, namely, upstream process and downstream process. Upstream process involves the preparation of inoculum, mother culture, inoculation, substrate or media preparation, incubation, monitoring, up to the production of desired products. Whereas, downstream process, DSP, involves the separation of product from the culture, purification and formulation into the market. As DSP is the recovery process, it mainly involves following steps. Step 1. Separation of products from the cells and from the media as well. Step 2. Removal of unwanted materials like insoluble materials through various techniques such as centrifugation, filtration, flocculation, etc. Step 3. Isolation of particular components through adsorption, precipitation, evaporation, etc. Step 4. Purification of the extracted products, which is mainly done by various chromatographic techniques. Step 5. Finished product or formulated products. It may be as lyophilized one, crystallized, or even as sterile product. Stage number 1. Solid-liquid separation. It is the first step in product recovery, where the separation of whole cells, cell biomass, and other insoluble ingredients from the culture broth will be done. If the products are intracellular, first cells need to be disrupted to extract intracellular products. The methods of extraction of intracellular products we'll learn in another video. Several methods are in use for solid-liquid separation. These includes flotation, flocculation, filtration and centrifugation. A. Flotation. When a gas is introduced into the liquid broth, it forms bubbles. The cells and other solid particles get adsorbed on gas bubbles. These bubbles rise to the foam layer which can be collected and removed. The presence of certain substances, referred to as collector substances, facilitates stable foam formation. Example, long-chain fatty acids, amines. B. Flocculation. In flocculation, the cells, or cell debris, form large aggregates to settle down for easy removal based on gravity. C. Filtration. Filtration is the most commonly used technique for separating the biomass and culture filtrate. The efficiency of filtration depends on many factors: the size of the organism, presence of other organisms, viscosity of the medium, and temperature. Several filters such as depth filters, absolute filters, rotary drum vacuum filters and membrane filters are in use. These filters are frequently used for separation of broth containing 10 to 40% solids by volume and particles in the size of 0.5 to 10 m. Rotary drum vacuum filters have been successfully used for filtration of yeast cells and filamentous fungi. Rotary drum filters are the simple equipment with low power consumption and is easy to operate. The filtration unit consists of a rotating drum, partially immersed in a tank of broth. As the drum rotates, it picks up the biomass, which gets deposited as a cake on the drum surface. This filter cake can be easily removed. D. Centrifugation. The technique of centrifugation is based on the principle of density differences between the particles to be separated and the medium. Stage 3. Concentration. The filtrate that is free from suspended particles, cells, cell debris etc. from solid liquid extraction stage usually contains 80 to 98% of water. The desired product is a very minor inconstituent. The water has to be removed to achieve the product concentration. The commonly used techniques for concentrating biological products are evaporation, liquid-liquid extraction, membrane filtration, precipitation and adsorption. A. Evaporation. Water in the broth filtrate can be removed by a simple evaporation process. B. Liquid-liquid extraction. The concentration of biological products can be achieved by transferring the desired product, solute, from one liquid phase to another liquid phase, a phenomenon referred to as liquid-liquid extraction. Liquid-liquid extraction can be achieved by physical extraction. The compound gets itself distributed between two liquid phases. Dissociation extraction. This technique is suitable for the extraction of ionizable compounds. Supercritical fluid extraction. This technique differs from the above procedures. Since the materials used for extraction are supercritical fluids, SCFs. SCFs are intermediates between gases and liquids and exist as fluids above their critical temperature and pressure. Supercritical CO2 with a low critical temperature and pressure is commonly used in the extraction. C. Membrane filtration. The membrane filtration technique basically involves the use of a semi-permeable membrane that selectively retains the particles' molecules that are bigger than the pore size, while the smaller molecules pass through the membrane pores. Membranes used in filtration are made up of polymeric materials such as polyether sulfone and polyvinyl difluoride. D. Adsorption. The biological products of fermentation can be concentrated by using solid adsorbent particles. In the early days, activated charcoal was used as the adsorbent material. In recent years, cellulose-based adsorbents are employed for protein concentration. Stage 4. Purification by chromatography. The biological products of fermentation, proteins, pharmaceuticals, diagnostic compounds and research materials are very effectively purified by chromatography. It is basically an analytical technique dealing with the separation of closely related compounds from a mixture. Chromatography usually consists of a stationary phase and mobile phase. The stationary phase is the porous solid matrix packed in a column, equilibrated with a suitable solvent, onto which the mixture of compounds to be separated is loaded. The compounds are eluted by a mobile phase. The different types of chromatography techniques used for separation, mainly proteins, like size exclusion chromatography, where separation will occur based on size and shape. Affinity chromatography, based on affinity of molecules towards stationary phase. Ion exchange, based on ionic interaction with stationary phase. And so on. Gel filtration chromatography. This is also referred to as size exclusion chromatography. In this technique, the separation of molecules is based on the size, shape and molecular weight. The sponge-like gel beads with pores serve as molecular sieves for separation of smaller and bigger molecules. Ion exchange chromatography. It involves the separation of molecules based on their surface charges. Ion exchangers are of two types: cation exchangers, which have negatively charged groups like carboxymethyl and sulfonate, and anion exchangers, with positively charged groups like diethylaminethyl. The most commonly used cation exchangers are Dowex HCr and Amberlite IR. The anion exchangers are Dowex SAR and Amberlite IRA. C. Affinity chromatography. This is an elegant method for the purification of proteins from a complex mixture. Affinity chromatography is based on an interaction of a protein with an immobilized ligand. The ligand can be a specific antibody, substrate analog, or an inhibitor. D. Hydrophobic interaction chromatography, HIC. This is based on the principle of weak hydrophobic interactions between the hydrophobic ligands, alkyl, aryl side chains on matrix, and hydrophobic amino acids of proteins. The differences in the composition of hydrophobic amino acids in proteins can be used for their separation. Once the desired product was purified, it needs to formulate it in such a way to protect its stability to environment, to intended use, and for long-term storage. Stage number 5. Formulation. Formulation broadly refers to the maintenance of activity and stability of a biotechnological products during storage and distribution. The formulation of low molecular weight products such as solvents, organic acids, can be achieved by concentrating them with the removal of most of the water. For certain small molecules, like antibiotics, citric acid, formulation can be done by crystallization, by adding certain salts. The stabilizers of protein formulation include sugars, like sucrose, lactose, salts, like sodium chloride, ammonium sulfate, polymers, polyethylene glycol, and polyhydric alcohols, glycerol. Proteins may be formulated in the form of solutions, suspensions, or dry powders. Some proteins, usually enzymes, are usually formulated in the form of lyophilization. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for further videos. Comment down for any doubts and for which topic do you want to learn with us.